So the Rebbe, Ois Gimel. So the Rebbe was discussing over here the idea of Lech Lecha. He explained one way of Lech Lecha. He explained the idea of Lech Lecha of going down from the top to the bottom, Milamaylo Lamato. Avram's neshama, which is the level of Avram, the highest level in Chochmah, Seichel Hanela Mikol Rayin. It comes down all the way to the level of Malchus, El Ha'oretz Asher Areka. And he explained that when it comes down to the Oretz Asher Areka, it goes into a higher madrege than it was before. But even the greatness of the neshama, as it is in the level of Abraham, it also, once it comes down and Lech Lecha, there becomes an aliyah also in the highest level of the neshama. Of Abraham. Same thing is with the Yeridas neshama. Now, neshama comes down in this world, even the highest level of the neshama, which is the level of chaya, that too is elevated. Like you brought out from the Tevas Noyach, Tachtim, Shnim, Ushlishim, all of the Teva, even the uppers, the highest level of the Teva, which represents the level of Yechida, everything is elevated. Now we're going to learn the other way, the other Taichin Lech Lecha. This is bringing down from the highest level to the lowest level. Now we're going to say Lech Lecha is going from the lower level to the higher level. In the literal sense, Abraham was leaving his homeland, Terach and Choron. These were all on a low level. And Lech Lecha, in the second interpretation, means he's going higher. He's going to a higher madrege, to a higher level than before. So that's what we're going to be discussing now. Gimel. Pirush habeis belech lecha goimer el haaretzu, and the second interpretation of lech lecha, going to the land, who kipashtos hakosuf. It's like the simple meaning in the pasuk that shalicha zu hi milmato lemailo. This going is from below to above. It's milmato, from the lower level going higher. Where is Abraham going? Hahalicha me'artzecha umemoldetecha umebeit avicha. That Abraham was going lech lecha me'artzecha, from his land, umemoldetecha, from the place you were born, umebeit avicha, from your father's home. Shehu kepashtus hakosa. What does it mean? Where was he born? Where is he going from? What's the pashta pshat in the pasuk? Artsoi v'goymer shel Terach. He's leaving the house of Terach. Terach is hepech inyan hatahara. Terach is the opposite of purity. It quotes from the pasuk in the note here, in note 31, Miyiten toher mitome, that Abraham comes, who is toher, Abraham who is pure, comes mitome, comes from the tome who is terach. So that means that terach, by definition, is tome, and Avram is leaving the Tahara. He's leaving the land of Tarach, which is the hepach of Tarach. Darga hachitachtoino, that is the very lowest step level. Umishom yelech v'yale milmato l'mayla, and from the lowest level he should go and go up milmato l'mayla, from below to above. Ad el ha'oretz asher ar'eka, till he comes to the land that I will show you. So Oretz, the land, is Malchus. Shekoi Kenal Sif Aleph Al Bchinas Malchus, which, as we read earlier in Sif Aleph, this refers to the level of Malchus. So he goes from the lowest level, from the opposite of Tahara, and he goes lech lecha, keeps on elevating milmata lamailo till he comes to the level of Malchus, and it goes even higher. Ba'ad till bechinas vayiven shom mizbeach lahavaya hanira elov. So it says weiter in the pasuk over there that he built a mizbeach. Now here he uses the name of Havaya. So which means, the name of Havaya is higher than the name of Malchus. So he was going higher and higher till he came to Havaya, but it says Havaya Hanira Elov, that Havaya that appeared to him. So that means that Abraham was able to perceive, to appreciate Havaya. That's where he reached. He reached La Havaya Nira Elov. Shahu Lemailo Mibchinas Malchus, which is higher than the level of Malchus, not just Ad Eko El Ha'oretz, but up to the level of Havaya. But in Havaya itself, this is a level of Havaya which appears to him, which means that he has already a shaykhis to that Havaya. But Ba'ad, later on in the pasuk, he says, "Asher vayiven shom mizbeach lahavaya stam." It doesn't even say Havaya Hanira, but it says Havaya stam, which points to the fact that there is a higher level. So the person reaches from one level to the higher level until he comes to the level of Havaya stam. That's all milmato l'maylo. So the same thing is in the avodah balderech zeh hu gam beavodah. Same similar is also in the avodah the v'Yaakov halach l'darkei, that when we start the service, that v'Yaakov halach l'darkei, we're going on their way after Simchas Torah, after the Yomim Tovim, shebekol echad ve'echad. In each and one of us, we have that Aveda as well. After the month of Tishrei. So then we also Shahalicha Zuhi. So then when we go, Vayakov Holach, when we're going, it's not just in a way that you're going from the top, to the bottom, which means you had a top. You were always on the top. You experienced Yom Tov, and you were always on a high level. And now you're going down Darka. You're going down to the lower, to Divra Rishus. So not only Milmailo Lamata Shahoylech LeDarka Mehamoyadim the Chodesh Tishrei, from the festivals of the month of Tishrei, LeDarka, and you're going Binyone Rishus. Now you are in optional matters during the entire year. So you're going from the top, from Moyadim, from Yom Tov L'Darkei to the Shus, to the Uvdin the Chol throughout the year. So it's more than that. We also have the other way too. It's also in a way that from below to above. From the Yaakov Holach L'Darkei, we have to start going from the bottom, going up. Maschil bekoyach hamaisa shaloi. We start with the power of action. In other words, the lower level of the person, not the intellect, not the emotion, not the thought. It's you start from milmato, always from the bottom, from the power of action. Ubekoyach hamaisa gufa, and in the power of Maisa itself, it's like in the heel. The heel of the person is considered the lowest, that is physically the lowest part within the foot. It's on the bottom of the foot. It's on the heel of the foot, which is Darga HaYoser Tachtoino Shebeguf HaOdom. It is the very lowest level in the person's body. V'ad shehu ha'inyan dehepech hachayim, till that's the idea, the heel of the person is considered brought down from office that Abnosen. It's sort of like almost like dead. It's considered hepech hachayim within the person itself. That is the very lowest level. That's why Yaakov is Akev, is the heel. Meaning Yaakov holach ledarka. You start from the lowest level, from the level of Akev, from the level which is sort of opposite of life, as it says in Ovis de Rav Nosson, referring to the Akev, is bedugmas hamuva li'il b'negeya leterach shu hepech hatahara. This is similar in the example that we brought to Terach. We said Terach was the opposite of Tahara, miyitin tohir mitome. Terach is referred to Tome, opposite of Tahara. So even from there, Abraham leaves and is elevated Lech Lecha. Similar in Avodah, we're taking even our lowest parts of the body, even the parts which are Hepech Hatara, the heel, the Akev, which is Hepech HaChaim, similar to Hepech Hatara, Umishom Maschil Halichose Milmata Lamaila, all the ways from there you begin, you're starting to grow from below to above. What does that mean that you grow with the Akev, with the heel? How does that work? Shegam shepoyel gam b'ha'ekev shaloi, that you impact even your heel, meaning even the lowest in your body, erzol that hern elikus, he should sense godliness, that even the akev, the lowest part in the person, they too should be able to sense and feel godliness. Shekosu b'Avraham, like the pasuk says b'Avraham, akev asher shama Abraham bekoili. Literally, akev means because, like V'hoya akev also means because, but it also has akev as the heel. So Abraham it says akev, the heel asher shama Abraham bekoili, that the heel of Abraham listened to my voice, which means shegam ha'akev shaloi ha'derhert, that even his heel was able to sense. V'al yidei shehoya ze etzel Abraham, and then through that it was by Abraham Avinu, niten hakoyach al ze lekol echad ve'echad miYisrael. So that was given the power to each and every one of the Jewish people. Abraham basically started this process of Lech Lecha from Terach that we're talking now, Milmata Lamaila, to go up. So that, and his heel, Akev Abraham. So he gives, since it was by Abraham, the power was given Lekol Echad Ve'echad MiYisrael, to each and every one of the Jewish people. And this is similar. We always say we all have that hidden love. Every Yid has that hidden love as an inheritance from Abraham Avinu. Same thing is here. That power to turn even the heel to become elevated, to sense godliness, also comes from Abraham. Bedugmas ha'ava mesuteres shebekol echad ve'echad miYisrael. Similar to that hidden love which is in every one and one of the Jewish people. Shehi b'Yerushalanu me'aviseinu. That's something which we have inherited from our fathers. In general, fathers would be Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, but specifically, Bifrat, specifically Abraham Avinu, from Abraham Avinu. Umizeh nimshach. So from this, that we have the going, and you're starting with the heel. So ba'ofen the hiluch milmata l'maylo ekev asher shama. From the heel you listen, which means hashmiya sometimes you use the word shmiya to listen, but shmiya also means to derher. Derher meaning not just hearing, but capturing what you hear when you're paying attention. It really reaches you. Belakuz, bechol, hakoiches, godliness in all of his powers. Ad lekoyach haseichel sheberosh, up till the power of the intellect. You start with the heel, goes to the sensing of godliness until it reaches also the power of the intellect, which is in the head. Shatia bohem hashmiya, so that they should be able to sense lemailo mimedido v'hagbola de seichel, even beyond the measure and the limitation of seichel, so that they should be tuned in to get this higher level from Abraham Avinu, that here that sensing godliness, that every yid should be able to do that. So this is what he's explaining now, the second halicha. First halicha, you go from Yom Tov in Avodah, you go from Yom Tov, you go into the weekly matters. But the second working is taking all the weekly matters, taking the akev, taking the heel, taking the lowest level, and elevating lech lecha, going to Hashem Anira, the different madrigas. We get this from Abraham Avinu. Since Abraham Avinu did this, he gave us the power to come to all the ways higher than Medida Hagbola, to reach up to the level higher than Malchus Hashem Anira, to the level of even higher than Seichel. So now the question is, what's the connection with this avodah specifically with the month of Tishrei and Simchas Torah Shmini Atzeres? Because the Rebbe will explain, because that's what we do on Simchas Torah Shmini Atzeres. We dance, and when we dance with our feet, and specifically our heels. So that sort of is the impetus, the beginning of that process of elevating even the heel. Also this aspect. The first aspect of a Yaakov Holach L'Darka, going from Yom Tov Milmailo Lamata, that's obvious because we come from Yom Tov and you're going to the weekday. That's obvious Holach, you're going to the lower level. But we're saying V'gam Inyan Zeh, even this, also this aspect of a Yaakov Holach L'Darka, which is Halicha Milmata L'Mailo, to go from below to above. This begins after the month of Tishrei. The Hine ha'avoida, the Shmini Atzeres v'Simchas Torah, the avoida, the service of Shmini Atzeres Simchas Torah, which is basically the culmination, the conclusion of the month of Tishrei. Siyum hamoyadim the Chodesh Tishrei. That's the end of the festivals of Chodesh Tishrei. Simcha v'rikudim is with joy and dancing. What is she'inyan harikudim? What is dancing? Hu be'iker u'maschil baraglayim. Mainly, and you start the dancing, that's with the feet. U'bahem kufa, within the feet, is ba'ikev shobahem, is the heel that's in the feet. So that's where you're dancing, and that's where the joy. So the avodah of Ekev begins in the end of the month of the end of the Yom Tovim, which is a Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah, when we dance. And through the fact that the heels raise, they are ring raised, and they dance. They raise also the head, and the power of the intellect that's inside in the person, in the head. You raise everything. That he too, the head, also dances with a tremendous great joy, beyond any measure and limitation. So therefore, so from this we get the power That's why it's after Yom Tov. It's that we get the power for the Avodah of the Yaakov Holach Ledarka in the second interpretation. The Yaakov Holach going Halicha Milmata Lamaila, to go from below to above. B'meshech Kol Hashana, during the duration of the entire year, so that to go in a way of Milmata Lamaila. Maschil Mikoyach Hamaisa, to beginning with the power of the action, that the person's action starts K'moshu Ba'ekev. You start with the heel. So what does it mean? Not just that. What does it mean, the Akev? We know that sometimes it's referred to mitzvahs that a person is not particularly cared for, or he's not careful, are called, a person steps on them with his heels. So when you start with Be'ekev Koilel, this includes Hoinyonim Sha'odum Dosh Ba'akov. Those are those matters that a person steps with his heels. That's what we call it. Meaning it's not important to him. Hainu Inyonim. So what would that mean? What does it mean that you start to work with the Akev? You start to work with the heel. What does it mean practically? So the Rebbe explains it. We're talking about matters Asher Mitzad Eze Sheshiba Shetia. If for whatever reason Ein L'chayis Bahem, you don't have you don't have any energy in them. You're not really so interested. Bedugmas ha'ekev kipshutei shehu inyan de'epech ha'chaim. Literally similar to literally we talk about the heel. The heel, we say, is opposite of life, as they quoted before. What does it mean in avoid the opposite of life? Opposite of life means that you're not interested. It's something that is not speak to you. It's not something you have a passion about. So you start with that. You start with the Akev. You start with those matters, Odom Dosh Ba'kovov, or that you don't have any achayis in them. Umizem Mamshich, and then from this you keep on going to the higher level, Ba'ifun de Hiluch Milmata L'mayla, in a way of going from below to above. Gam lekoyach haseichel sheberoshkinal, also till you come to the power of the intellect of the head, kinisker le'il, as we said earlier, so that you come like Abraham was going from Choran, from Terach, and going up to the level, so we go up also to the power of the head, as we said before. So this is basically after Simchas Torah, when we had the Akev, and we elevated, and the head was also elevated, we go Yaakov Holach Ledarkoi. So this is the Milmata L'maylo, that we go starting from the Akev, and we go up all the ways to the head, into the highest level. And the Rebbe says now that this is also similar to the two interpretations in Ever Hanohor Yoshua Veseichem, which can be interpreted for a high level, Ever Hanor meaning a higher level, or Ever Hanor a lower level. These are the two ways of Lech Lecha, how to going from the higher to the lower and low to higher. Let's look inside Dalet. Ushnei Purushim Hanal Belech Lecha Me'arzcha Goymer. These two interpretations in Lech Lecha Me'arzcha, etc., Heim Behesem Lishnei HaPirushim Be'ever Hanor Yoshua V'Seichem. This fits the two interpretation in the verse on the other side of the verse says, on the other side of the river, your fathers were sitting. Avisechem is Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, or Abraham specifically. So what does it mean on the other side of the river? The river is called the Nohar. That's called Bina. The Bina is called the Nohar because we know Chochma is Anekuda. That's like the source, the well. And Bina is the place where it comes to the Chayves Hanor. It gets wide. The river makes the source of water becomes wide. when we say be'ever hanor on the other side of the river, meaning on the side of Chochmah, higher than Bina, on the side Ever hanor Yoshua Aviseichem, that where is the root of Aviseichem on the other side of the river, meaning higher than even the Bina. Hapirush shebepnimis haTorah. What is the meaning of Ever hanor according to the inner part of Torah? She'ever hanohor, when we say Ever hanohor, hu habechino shelamaylo gam mebchinas v'nohor yoytze me'eden. It's higher than the level of a river came out of Eden. So Eden, the river that comes from Eden, would be Bina. That's Bina da'atzilus. We're talking about the river is Bina da'atzilus. And when we say Upirush bi Ever hanor Yoshua Veseichem, that on the other side of the river your fathers were sitting, what does it mean? Higher than Bina. Usheshoidesh ha'ava. What it means is that the shoidesh ha'ava is ume'ever hanor shalamaylo me'atzilus, that the root of the ovis is from the other side of the river, which is higher than Atzilus. Umisham, and from higher than Atzilus, nimshechu lamato be'ever hasheni shel hanor, and from higher than Atzilus, Yoshua v'seichem, they came down to the other side. So one side of the river is higher than Atzilus. The other side is Zod Atzilus. He came down by Zod Atzilus. So Me'ever hanor Yoshua started from there, from higher than Atzilus, coming down in Zod Atzilus. Ba'ad, then the pasuk continues. Be'ever hanor Yoshua v'seichem. The pasuk says, "V'oilech oisoi b'chol eretz Canaan." Hashem says, "I led him in the entire land of Canaan." Hayirida v'hamshocha b'bchinas hamalchus. That is coming down to the level of malchus. Canal Sif Aleph, as we said earlier, Sif Aleph she'eretz Yisrael koi al malchus. That Eretz Yisrael goes on and says, Oretz Asher Ar Eko, the land that shows you that's the level of Sfiras HaMalchus. This is Halicha Me'artzcha. So what happens is that you're going from Artzcha, Shakoyi Al Ever Hanor, which goes on the other side of the river from the level that is higher than Atzilus Ela, Oretz Asher Ar Eko, who ha'alicha milmayla lamata, that is going from higher to low, like the first taich in Lech Lecha, in which the Avraham comes down to the level of Malchus. That fits with that Eber Hanor, the way it's in the Pnimius Inyonim. Pnimius Inyonim is Eber Hanor, higher than Atzilus, coming down, va'oilech oisa b'chol eretz Canaan, coming down all the way to the level of Malchus. But then we have also the other pshat. The pshat is va'pirush. What is Ever Hanor, according to this, means a very high level. But literally, Ever Hanor is a low level. We're trying to say that Terach, Abram's parents, lived on the other side of the river. In this context, it means, in the Pashtus, it means that we're in a very low place. Va'pirush, they have the second interpretation. K'moishu b'Pashtus, as it's simply, literally, she'ever hanor hu mekoyme shel terach, that Ever Hanor, that's the place of terach. Uma shekosu, when the pasuk says be'ever hanor Yashua v'seichem, that they said on the other side of the river, hu ligreusa, that's worse. That's not saying that they were higher than Atzilus. We're saying they were on the other side of the river, and the pashtus, it's for the bad. As it's evident from the saying of our sages, and we do this in the Haggadah, that it says that maschil begnus chulu, that the order of the Haggadah starts with the shame. That, and what is it? That mitchila of the aveda zara hoya aveiseinu chulu. So the way the Haggadah begins from the Maimer Azal, that in the beginning they were idol worshippers, our forefathers. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, be'ever hanor Yoshua v'seichem, that they sit on the other side of the river. So here in this context, the other side of the river means they were avodah zarah. That's what's brought as a pasuk to support the idea of the bignus. So you start from Ever Hanor, which is Ligreusa, and then you go Ha'alicha Ma'artzcha. And Abraham leaves that lower place, that level of genus, that level of avodah zarah. He goes Me'artzcha Gomer Ever Hanor El Ha'oretz Asher Areka. He goes to the land that I will show you, which is the Hiluch V'Aliyah Milmata L'Maylo. It's going and the elevation from above to below, canal Siv Gimel, as we said earlier in Siv Gimel. Okay, let's leave it over here.
Okay.
And we'll be mamshich. Okay?
Okay. Bye-bye. Kol tov.